If you're stuck feeling like I'm just naturally disorganized, or maybe I could never be an outgoing person, or even something like, oh, I'm just not a morning person, then this deep dive is definitely for you.
Hmm.
We're going to help you understand why those beliefs, those stories we tell ourselves, are often a choice, really, a narrative you've maybe inadvertently adopted rather than some kind of fixed life sentence.
Yeah, it's a powerful idea.
We've all heard it, right?
Yeah.
Or even said it ourselves.
Yeah.
People don't change.
Oh, constantly.
Maybe you found some comfort in labels like, I'm just an introvert, I can't help it, or felt that your personality is this hardwired, permanent core of who you are.
It feels safe sometimes, doesn't it, to have that box?
It does. And even, the famed psychologist William James quipped that by age 30, our character is set like plaster.
Right, that old quote, it looms large.
And those popular personality tests, Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, all of them, they often seem to reinforce this idea, slotting us into types like ENFP or ISTJ that supposedly never change.
Exactly. A Myers-Briggs proponent even argued that while your surface traits might shift a bit, your underlying type doesn't, which really locks you in.
No wonder it's so easy to feel stuck being a certain way, like you're trapped in some kind of pre-written script for your life.
But here's the truly fascinating counter-narrative, and really the central promise of our deep dive today. Personality isn't a fixed prison sentence. It's not a destiny etched in stone.
Yep.
You are absolutely capable of profound growth, of intentional evolution.
So it's not just wishful thinking.
Not at all. Modern psychology, ancient philosophy, and just countless real-life stories, they all echo the same liberating truth: you can fundamentally change who you are.
That's huge.
It is. And this deep dive will explore exactly why you're not stuck being the you of today, and maybe most importantly, provide you with the insights and the tools to actually take charge of your personal evolution starting right now.
Okay, so we've acknowledged this common internal monologue, right? I'm just built this way. But what if that narrative is actually, well, a myth, a comfortable illusion that might be holding us back from immense personal growth?
Precisely.
Let's peel back the layers of this widespread belief that personality is some static, unchangeable thing. It's the common trap, isn't it?
It really is. We often treat these labels shy, type A, neurotic, creative, awkward, like they're lifelong verdicts.
Yeah, like a judge handed them down.
Exactly. You might think, I'm inherently built that way. And then the tragedy is you might never even try to grow in a new direction. It's almost as if we put ourselves into these tight little boxes.
And then subconsciously throw away the key?
That's a great way to put it, yes. But one particularly insightful finding emerges when we look at, contemporary research.
Okay, what's the science saying?
Well, psychologists who rigorously study personality, often using a framework called the Big Five trait model.
Right, I've heard of that: openness, conscientiousness.
Exactly. Openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. They paint a very different picture than the one society often presents.
Oh, so.
Unlike those popular type-based systems, which tend to categorize you into a fixed box like you're either an introvert or an extrovert, end of story.
Right, black and white.
The Big Five operates on a spectrum. It identifies these 5 broad dimensions, and the beauty is it measures where you fall along a continuum for each trait.
So it's not all or nothing.
Not at all. We all possess these qualities to varying degrees, and crucially, those degrees can and do shift over time. Far from being etched in stone, wherever you fall on these major traits tends to evolve throughout your life.
So it's not fixed at 30 like plaster.
Definitely not. We mature, we adapt, sometimes predictably, like, many people tend to become more responsible, more conscientious as they age.
Makes sense.
And sometimes in profound response to significant life events, like becoming a parent or facing a major career change or even moving. These aren't just surface changes, they're measurable, noticeable shifts that accumulate. It proves personality is this dynamic work in progress.
That naturally leads us to wonder then, what role does context play in all this? Our environment, our role?
It's a critical point, absolutely critical. The roles you occupy, the expectations placed upon you, the specific environment you're immersed in, they can actually nudge your personality in new, often unexpected directions.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Think about this. If you take on a new job that demands a high degree of organization, maybe project management,
Yeah, okay.
you may find yourself becoming more organized, not just at work, but maybe your personal finances get tidier, your home environment.
Yeah.
It bleeds over.
So the external demands can shape the internal traits.
Exactly. Or if you move to a completely different culture with different social norms, different values, you might find yourself becoming more open-minded, more adaptable, maybe even more extroverted out of sheer necessity or opportunity.
Right, you have to adapt to thrive.
Precisely. So far from being fixed from birth or frozen at some arbitrary age like 30, your personality is in this constant, intricate dance with your experiences and your surroundings. It's continually interacting with and being shaped by them.
And if you're thinking, well, okay, maybe that happens sometimes, is this widespread? Do most people feel this potential for change?
That's another fascinating piece. Modern surveys, capturing really vast swaths of the population, consistently show that most people aren't entirely satisfied with their current selves.
Really? What kind of numbers are we talking?
An astounding figure, approximately 90% of individuals express a desire to change at least some aspect of their personality for the better.
90%? Wow. That's almost everyone.
It is. Think about that 9 out of 10 people are actively looking for some kind of personal improvement in their core being, not just, surface level habits.
And importantly, are these just idle wishes? Or can people actually achieve this change?
And that's the key. The research indicates that change is absolutely attainable. It's not just pie in the sky. Through intentional goal setting, consistent effort, a strategic approach, individuals can make real, measurable changes to their personality traits.
So you can decide to become more organized or outgoing or patient and make it happen.
Yes. Given the right approach and, crucially, sustained effort, it's not about becoming someone else entirely, maybe, but about refining and expanding who you already are.
Is there any specific research that shows this kind of intentional change working quickly?
Yes, there is. One particularly compelling piece of evidence comes from a study that found even a focused 2-week intervention,
Just 2 weeks.
just 2 weeks, involving training specific behaviors could lead to measurable shifts in a trait like conscientiousness.
Wow. That's incredible. 2 weeks of practice makes a difference.
It truly underscores the power of consistent, targeted action. And then, over longer periods, say a decade, the average person's personality changes quite significantly, often much more than we anticipate.
More than we expect. Why is that?
Psychologists refer to our tendency to underestimate these future changes as the end of history illusion.
The end of history illusion. Okay, break that down.
Think of it like this. You can easily look back and recall how much you've grown and changed since you were, say, 18 or 25, right? You recognize the evolution from your past self.
Sure, definitely.
But for some reason, we almost universally assume the person we are right now is the final, finished version. Like, this is it. Peak me.
We hit this invisible wall of self-perception.
Exactly. Forgetting that future us will likely look back at present us with the same sense of, wow, I've evolved so much since then.
So we're always under construction, basically.
In reality, yes, you will continue to evolve in the coming years, whether you plan it or not. The crucial distinction then becomes, will you be intentional about that growth, actively guiding it, or will you simply let time and circumstance shape you passively? That's the empowering question.
So what does this all mean for us, personally? It sounds like clinging to the belief that personality is permanent.
Well, it can actually become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It absolutely can. If you assume I'll always be this way, you're just far less likely to seek out new experiences, right? Less likely to put in the effort to work on yourself. You might even actively avoid situations that challenge your perceived fixed traits.
Because it's uncomfortable or feels not like you.
Precisely. But embracing the liberating idea that personality is flexible, that it's more like a dynamic canvas than a finished painting, that truly opens the door to immense growth and profound self-improvement.
And there's a term for this attitude in psychology, isn't there? Yes, modern psychology calls this empowering attitude a growth mindset. It's about seeing your abilities, your character traits, even your intelligence, not as static, fixed endowments, but as qualities that can be developed and enhanced through effort, strategy, and dedication.
So it's about potential, not predetermined limits.
Exactly. When you genuinely view your traits as changeable, you become inherently more resilient. You're more proactive in improving yourself.
Can you give an example of that?
Sure. Studies have shown that teens who are taught that people can change what psychologists call an incremental theory of personality, they cope significantly better with adversity. They even become less aggressive in response to bullying.
Why is that?
Because they realize a bad situation, a difficult feeling, or even a perceived flaw is not a permanent state. They understand they have agency, they can adapt, things can get better.
So the belief itself enables the change.
In short, yes. The belief that you can change becomes a powerful, undeniable catalyst for actual change. It fundamentally shifts your internal narrative. You start seeing yourself not as a fixed noun, I am this type of person, forever stuck in that category.
Like, I am an introvert.
Right. But instead, you see yourself as a fluid, dynamic verb, a person who is continuously learning, adapting, evolving, and becoming. It's a profound shift from static identity to active transformation.
It's truly remarkable how consistent this idea seems to be, looking back. Having explored the modern psychology, let's shift gears a bit and look at ancient philosophy. What's fascinating here is how timeless this concept of personal evolution truly is.
It really is striking. It's like humanity has been grappling with this fundamental question of self-identity and change for millennia.
From different angles.
Exactly, and consistently arriving at similar, liberating conclusions through very different paths of inquiry.
So where do we see this in ancient thought?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, Stoic philosophy in particular offers an incredibly powerful and practical perspective on personal growth and the inherent malleability of character.
The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus.
Those are the big names, yes. And they had an exceptionally optimistic view of human nature. They believed we are all born with the seeds of virtue, with the innate capacity to improve ourselves, to grow in wisdom and moral strength.
So not inherently flawed or fixed in vice.
Not at all. This wasn't some abstract ideal. It was a fundamental tenet of their whole philosophy. As the Stoic teacher Cleanthes taught, each of us is like a half-completed poem.
A half-completed poem. I like that.
Isn't it evocative? The purpose of life, then, is through conscious effort and practice, to work diligently to make a complete and beautiful poem of ourselves.
So the potential is there,
Yeah.
but we have to work on it.
In other words, you have immense innate potential waiting to be developed. Your story isn't finished yet, and critically, you are the primary author. This stands in stark contrast to other doctrines or common beliefs that might view character as predestined or unchangeable.
Right, leaving little room for personal agency.
Exactly. The Stoics saw every person as equipped with the internal resources needed to grow in wisdom and character, even if external circumstances present immense challenges.
So what we call personality now, they might have called.
They would have more precisely called it character. And cultivating a robust, virtuous character was at the absolute heart of their entire philosophy.
And how do they believe character was formed?
They taught, quite profoundly, that our character is not given, it is forged. It's shaped by our consistent thoughts, our daily choices, and our ingrained habits.
So our actions and thoughts build our character over time.
Precisely. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, famously wrote in his Meditations that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts.
Dyed with the color of its thoughts. Wow.
It makes you pause, doesn't it? This raises an important question for you, the listener. What are your consistent thoughts dyeing your soul with right now?
That's a challenging question.
If you habitually ruminate on angry, anxious, or fearful thoughts, allowing them to cycle endlessly, then your character will inevitably take on that hue, becoming more prone to those states.
But on the flip side,
By the same token, if you consciously and consistently train your mind toward gratitude, courage, kindness, or equanimity, you gradually but certainly become a more grateful, brave, kind, or calm person.
which aligns perfectly with what modern psychology finds about habits shaping traits.
It's a powerful, timeless echo across centuries. This ancient observation matches modern findings perfectly.
And what about personal responsibility and stoicism?
They vehemently emphasize personal agency, the profound idea that we are fundamentally responsible for our own development and well-being.
So no blaming circumstances entirely.
Nature has given us all the tools we need to thrive, they argued, acknowledging our innate capacities, but they stressed it's entirely up to us to actually use them.
We have the tools, but we have to pick them up and use them.
Exactly. While we may not control external events, the circumstances life throws our way, the actions of others, they firmly asserted that we do control our own choices, our effort, and our attitudes in response to those events.
Focus on the internal, not just the external.
We must diligently work on our own reasoning. Take great care with the inside and not what's outside, urged Epictetus. To the Stoics, no one is ever truly stuck with a bad personality or flawed character in a moral sense.
Every day is a chance to choose differently.
Every single day, they believed, is an unmissable opportunity to choose and practice virtue, gradually working to eliminate vices like cowardice, dishonesty, or ill temper.
Do they have practical methods for this?
Oh, absolutely. They developed specific practical exercises. For instance, Seneca advised counting the alphabet when angry.
Just to create a pause.
Exactly. A simple but effective technique to create that vital pause, regain control before reacting impulsively. The very existence of these Stoic training regimens, these daily practices, implies a deep, unwavering belief that people can change.
Otherwise, why bother practicing?
Precisely. Stoicism consistently encourages us to see ourselves not as finished products, but as perpetual works in progress, capable of continuous refinement.
So the past shapes us, but doesn't define our future action.
Yes. Your past experiences and predispositions have undoubtedly shaped you, but as Seneca wisely wrote, each day is a new life. Every new day, you have the chance to start becoming a better version of yourself than you were yesterday, one small, intentional step at a time.
That's absolutely incredible how that ancient wisdom mirrors modern science so precisely. It really shows these enduring truths about human nature.
It's a profound resonance, isn't it?
It truly is. Having explored these timeless philosophical insights, let's now turn our gaze squarely back to contemporary psychology. What do the very latest studies, armed with empirical data and, sophisticated methods, tell us about the how of personality change, especially through our own intentional efforts?
Right. Shifting back to modern science, we find incredibly strong and consistent evidence that personality is indeed malleable and can be intentionally changed.
Okay. And how do psychologists define personality, again, in this context?
They define it not as a single thing, but as the typical patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving that make each of us unique.
Patterns. That sounds changeable.
Exactly. And while these patterns certainly have a biological basis, and they tend to be stable relative to others, like we said, a shy child often grows into a relatively shy adult compared to their peers.
Relative stability.
Stable absolutely does not mean static. Contemporary longitudinal studies tracking thousands of people over years, even decades, they've definitively shattered that old set like plaster idea.
So the long-term data is clear.
It's very clear. These extensive studies consistently show that our trait levels can and do change over time, often in direct response to our conscious choices and the significant life events we experience.
But here's where it gets even more empowering, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beyond just natural evolution, what about deliberate change?
Yes, exactly. This is the exciting field of volitional personality change. It refers to deliberate, self-initiated efforts to change one's own traits.
Okay, and what does the research say about that? Does just wanting to change work?
Well, a recent systematic review, a big meta-analysis of over 200 such studies, found that simply wanting to change, while a necessary start, is often not enough by itself.
Okay, so desire isn't sufficient. What is?
The real magic, the observable transformation, happens when people take concrete, consistent actions aligned with the traits they desire. They adopt new habits, practice new behaviors, stick with them, often through discomfort.
Until they become second nature.
Precisely. In essence, to genuinely change who you are, you should consistently change what you do. Over time, your internal disposition, your very inclinations and automatic responses begin to shift to align with your new, consistent behaviors.
It's a feedback loop. Action shapes identity.
A powerful feedback loop, yes.
And what about the role of belief in this? You mentioned growth mindset earlier.
Another profoundly important psychological finding is that belief matters, not just a little, but profoundly. If you're convinced deep down that people can't change, or this is just who I am,
You won't even try, or you'll give up easily.
exactly, the self-fulfilling prophecy kicks in. But if you truly believe personality is flexible, that growth is possible, you're already setting the stage for it. You're opening yourself up.
Is there a model for how this works? Belief, action.
Yes, one prominent theory of personality change, supported by a lot of research, outlines 3 key sequential ingredients for successful transformation: desire, belief, and action.
Okay, desire, belief, action. Let's break those down.
First, you must have a clear, burning desire to change. A compelling personal reason or goal, not just a vague wish, but deep motivation.
Got it. The why.
Second, you absolutely need to believe change is feasible. Cultivate that conviction that you are not stuck, that you can improve. This is where adopting that growth mindset is absolutely crucial.
Turning I can't into I can learn how.
Exactly. Without that belief, self-doubt will derail you. Third, and maybe most tangibly, you must take consistent action. Practice the traits or behaviors you aspire to consistently across different situations.
And when those actions become habits.
When they become habitual, integrated into your life,
Yeah.
then voila. Your personality trait has shifted almost as an organic byproduct of your new, consistent habits.
Can we walk through an example of this desire belief action model?
Sure. Let's imagine someone who deeply identifies as too introverted but genuinely wants to be more outgoing.
Okay, a common scenario.
If they cultivate a strong desire for that change, really believe it's possible for them, and then take consistent action, say, intentionally striking up a brief conversation with one new person each day.
Even just a quick greeting.
Even just that. At first, it will undoubtedly feel forced, awkward, maybe uncomfortable.
Take it till you make it, kinda.
To some extent, yes, initially. But over months of consistent practice, they'll likely find socializing comes easier, feels less draining, maybe even starts to feel natural.
And their actual personality traits could shift.
Their score on an extroversion scale, if measured, might actually increase as a result of these sustained behavioral interventions. This isn't wishful thinking. Studies have clearly documented measurable changes after interventions where people actively practiced new behaviors.
The power of consistent action really is key then.
It literally reshapes your internal landscape. Cannot be overstated.
That's incredibly powerful, this idea that personality shifts just by changing what we do. So actionable. But that makes me wonder about those deeper traits, the ones that feel almost hardwired, maybe from past experiences, even trauma. Does this action-first principle still apply there? Or do some parts of us need a different approach? Are they just too deeply etched?
That's a crucial question, and it delves into the profound role of our life stories, our past experiences, including trauma, in shaping our personality.
Right.
Sometimes what we identify as fixed personality traits, like I'm chronically anxious, I'm inherently timid, I'm fundamentally distrustful, are actually the lingering, solidified effects of unresolved past experiences.
So they're not the core S, but a reaction.
Exactly. Psychologist and author Benjamin Hardy argues quite compellingly that a rigid and unchanging personality can often be evidence of a decision formed during a traumatic event.
A decision formed during trauma.
Wow.
In other words, some traits we assume are just who we are actually deeply ingrained coping mechanisms we picked up, often unconsciously, to protect ourselves emotionally.
Like building a wall after being hurt.
Precisely. A person who experienced a profound betrayal might adopt a closed-off and skeptical personality as a shield. It feels permanent, like a fundamental part of them, but it's really an elaborate adaptation to past pain, a strategy to prevent future hurt.
And therapists see this connection often.
Widely. Hardy's insight, echoed by therapists, is that unprocessed emotions can indeed get stuck within us and then solidify into what appear to be permanent personality features.
Like suppressed anger or grief.
Exactly. Someone who suppresses anger or grief for years might develop a chronically flat or avoidant personality, almost as an unconscious strategy to cope with those buried feelings.
But is there hope for change in those cases?
Absolutely. The encouraging flip side, and this is truly liberating, is that by healing from trauma, or consciously releasing those long-suppressed emotions, people often see their personality change in incredibly freeing and expansive ways.
Healing leads to personality shifts.
Yes. The shy person finds their voice once they stop fearing rejection and process the underlying anxieties. The hot-tempered person becomes gentler after coming to terms with past hurts.
So our personality is tied to the story we tell ourselves.
To a large extent, yes. Our personalities are a deeply personal story we carry. And like any story, the narrative can be revised. Modern therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, or narrative therapy often aim to help people rewrite their personal story.
How does that work?
By actively reframing negative, limiting beliefs about themselves and literally opening up new possibilities for who they can be in the present and the future, it's about reclaiming authorship.
If all this talk of theory and philosophy still feels a bit abstract, maybe some real-world examples would help anchor it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This next part truly brings it to life. Let's look at some remarkable transformations that show just how dramatically people can change.
Okay, I'm ready.
In his book, Personality Isn't Permanent, Benjamin Hardy shares the incredible story of Andre Norman.
Okay.
He started out as a violent career criminal. By his own description, he was angry, aggressive, headed nowhere good. His personality seemed incredibly fixed, leading him down this destructive path.
It's like a tough starting point for change.
Extremely. But after a moment of profound insight, a fundamental change of mindset while in prison, Norman committed to turning his life around. And this wasn't just the surface change, it was a complete overhaul.
What happened?
He not only left crime behind entirely, but he eventually graduated from Harvard University
From prison to Harvard, that's unbelievable.
and became a successful speaker and mentor, helping others transform their lives. It's hard to imagine a more striking personality shift, from inmate with a hair-trigger temper to a learned, reflective Harvard graduate.
That really challenges the set like plaster idea.
Absolutely. Stories like Andre's are so powerful because they prove that even deeply ingrained behavior patterns and the personality traits that go with them can be completely overhauled with determination and a radical, intentional change in self-concept.
Any other examples?
Another compelling one Hardy gives is a woman named Rosalie. She was an aspiring writer who abandoned her creative dream after getting incredibly harsh criticism in college.
Oh, that can be devastating for creativity.
It was. It led her to effectively resign herself to living a timid, uncreative life. Her personality became formed around avoiding risk, avoiding rejection. She identified as not creative.
So the criticism shaped her self-perception.
Deeply. But with some guidance, a crucial shift in perspective, she realized that past failure didn't have to define her future. She courageously rekindled her passion for writing later in life.
That takes real courage.
It does, and Rosalie's personality, transforming from meek and discouraged to confident and purpose-driven, changed dramatically when she chose to stop letting an old, painful narrative dictate her future self. She literally rewrote her own story.
Those are amazing headline-grabbing stories. But not every transformation is that dramatic.
Not at all.
If you look around, or even look within, you probably notice smaller scale examples everywhere. Things you might not even label as personality change.
That's a great point.
Think of the quiet kid in high school who becomes a bold, articulate entrepreneur at 30. Or the perpetual procrastinator who trains herself through sheer discipline into a marathon runner.
Yes, building conscientiousness.
Or that chronically disorganized student who, a few years into the working world, becomes the super efficient linchpin of her team. These aren't just behavior changes. They reflect shifts in traits like conscientiousness, extroversion, self-belief.
Absolutely. Real measurable shifts.
Perhaps you, listening right now, have even experienced a period where you changed significantly. Maybe leaving a bad relationship made you more optimistic and outgoing than you ever thought possible.
Or taking on a leadership role.
Exactly. Taking on a leadership role at work unexpectedly made you more confident, assertive, decisive. We often don't give ourselves enough credit for these shifts because they happen gradually.
That's true. We adapt.
Take a moment, maybe later, to reflect on the differences between your past self, say 5 or 10 years ago, and your present self. Chances are you'll spot positive changes that once seemed unlikely.
This leads us back to that crucial question. Why do these changes happen? How is it possible?
Yeah, what's the mechanism?
It really comes down to a fundamental and magnificent human capacity. We are remarkably adaptable. When our circumstances shift, when new demands are placed on us, when new opportunities arise, we often grow and evolve in response.
We rise to the occasion, so to speak.
We do. As one astute psychologist noted, we are more the sum total of our choices than our wiring.
More the sum total of our choices than our wiring.
I like that. In other words, your conscious decisions, your daily actions, your consistent efforts play a far larger role in who you become than any fixed natural temperament you might have started with.
That insight is truly liberating, isn't it?
It really is. It unequivocally puts the pen of your life story back squarely in your own hands. It empowers you to actively shape your character and future rather than just passively accepting it.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you listening right now, navigating your own life? By now, the evidence seems clear. You're not stuck being the you of today. You can deliberately guide your personality and character growth. But the biggest question, the one we've been building towards, is how? How do you actually begin this journey of intentional personal evolution?
The practical steps.
Exactly. Changing deeply ingrained aspects isn't an overnight switch, right? It needs self-awareness, intention, practice. It's like sculpting, chipping away daily.
A great analogy.
So let's get into a structured, actionable guide, maybe call it your personal playbook, to help you get started, turning all this compelling theory into practical, tangible steps.
Okay, let's dive into that playbook. We've broken it down into 7 foundational steps.
7 steps. Let's hear them.
Step 1. Believe change is possible. This is the absolute bedrock, the first and most crucial step. You must truly embrace the mindset that you can change.
Let go of this is just who I am.
Exactly. Consciously let go of that fatalistic idea. The science is unequivocally on your side here. Personalities have both stable and profoundly malleable aspects, even well into adulthood.
Adopt that growth mindset we talked about.
Yes. View yourself not as a finished product, but as a continuous work in progress, a developing entity with untapped potential. Simply believing in the possibility of change dramatically boosts your motivation and persistence, especially when things get tough.
Remind yourself others have done it.
Absolutely. Remind yourself countless others have changed profoundly, sometimes against incredible odds, and you can too. As the Stoics would say, you have the inner resources. As modern psychologists put it, a strong sense of self-efficacy, that confidence you can make a difference is half the battle.
So challenge those I'll never be different thoughts.
Immediately. Recognize them often not as reality, but as fear, old habits, or internalized limiting beliefs. That thought itself is the first obstacle.
Okay, believe it's possible. What's step 2?
Step 2, envision your future self. It's much, much easier to become a new you if you have a vivid, compelling vision of who you want to become.
So not just focusing on escaping the old self, but moving towards a new one.
Exactly. It's aspirational. Spend dedicated, focused time imagining your ideal future self. Ask probing questions. What specific qualities do I want to embody a year from now, 5 years? How do I want people to describe me? How do I want to genuinely feel about myself day to day?
Get really specific.
As vivid and granular as possible. You might write a detailed description, create a mood board, maybe even write a letter from your future self back to your present self.
Does the research back this visualization up?
Yes. Psychologist Hal Hershfield's research suggests when you vividly picture and emotionally get to know your future self, you make better decisions now that favor long-term growth.
Because you feel connected to that future self.
Yeah, precisely. And Dr. Daniel Gilbert notes people struggle to change often because they spend very little time actively imagining a different future self. They stay stuck in the present you.
So dream big about your potential.
Get creative. Dare to dream big. Allow that vision to pull you forward. Maybe you envision a future you who's effortlessly healthy, calm under pressure, confidently expressive. Hold that image firmly in mind.
It's like setting a North Star.
Exactly. Not mere daydreaming, but setting a personal North Star for direction and motivation. When you have that compelling vision, aligning daily actions becomes much easier. As Benjamin Hardy says, if you don't imagine who you want to be, you'll reactively become whatever life drives you towards.
Envisioning gives you an active role.
A powerful, deliberate role in shaping that outcome.
Okay, desire, belief, vision. What's step 3?
Step 3. Identify and let go of limiting labels. This requires some courageous introspection. Take honest stock of the labels and stories you use to define yourself.
Like I'm bad at relationships, or I'm not creative.
Exactly. Those insidious ones that feel so true. These beliefs act as invisible ceilings on your growth, reinforcing the very traits you might want to change. It's time to actively question, challenge, and consciously rewrite those narratives.
Labels describe the past, not prescribe the future.
Beautifully put. Remember that. Psychologists warn that pop personality tests can box you in. There's no evidence you're locked in forever. So instead of I'm an X person as an immutable law,
Reframe it.
reframe it. I have a tendency toward X behavior, but I can become more Y. For example, I often avoid social events, but I can grow more outgoing with practice. This shift keeps your identity flexible, open to change.
How can we actively challenge these labels?
A practical exercise. Write down your self-descriptions, then challenge each one. Is it always true? Can you think of any exception, even small? What evidence shows this trait could change? You'll often find they aren't ironclad truth, just ingrained thoughts.
Habits of thought.
Yes. Consciously shed the labels that don't serve your desired future self. Maybe even tell close friends you're working on changing a trait. It breaks their expectations and enlists support. Give yourself permission to be someone new.
Permission to evolve. Step 4.
Step 4, shape your environment. Deceptively simple, incredibly powerful. Our surroundings profoundly influence our habits, attitudes, even traits, often more than we realize.
More than just willpower.
Way more. Willpower is finite. Instead, intelligently set up your environment to effortlessly support the changes you want. This means your physical space, home, workspace.
Your social space too.
Absolutely. Your social environment, the people you consistently interact with, and even your information environment, media, books, podcasts.
Give me an example.
If you want to be more productive, create a clutter-free, distraction-minimized workspace. If you want to be more active, join a hiking club or move closer to a park. Make it easy.
So environment can literally shift traits.
Research shows work culture, peer groups can shift personality traits over time. So surround yourself with people who already embody the qualities you aspire to. Want more confidence? Spend time with confident people. Their traits rub off.
Social contagion, almost.
It's real. Emotions, attitudes, behaviors spread. Being around people who embody traits you desire subconsciously influences your own patterns. Want creativity? Join a creative community. Choose your company deliberately.
And curate information intake, too.
Yes. Fill your mind with information reinforcing the identity you're building. If you want to be calmer, maybe less outrage news, less snarky social media, design your spaces and circles to be a fertile ground for the new you.
Because if you don't shape your environment...
It will shape you, often in ways you didn't intend.
Okay, powerful. Step 5.
Step 5. Start small. Practice new behaviors consistently. Personality change is basically behavior change repeated over time. Cumulative small actions.
Small steps, big impact over time.
Exactly. Identify 1 or 2 concrete, manageable behaviors reflecting the trait you want. Practice them regularly. Small steps are ideal, sustainable, less intimidating, build momentum. Consistency beats grand gestures.
It's like saying hello to coworkers if you want to be more outgoing.
A perfect example. Or making your bed daily for conscientiousness. Or using a simple daily to-do list. These seem minor, but cumulatively build evidence for a new identity.
Casting votes for the new you.
That's a great way to think of it. Each action is a vote. Over time, they add up, your self-image shifts. Habit formation is your greatest ally here. As behaviors become habits, they need less willpower.
Use tools like reminders or tracking apps.
Definitely helps. Schedule it, set reminders, track it. Early on, you might need to fake it a bit. Don't worry if it feels unnatural. That's just stepping out of the comfort zone.
Awkward effort becomes effortless habit.
With repetition, yes. Today's awkward behavior becomes tomorrow's habit, part of who you are. Research documents that sustained behavior changes lead to shifts in trait measures. Be patient, but persistent.
Patience and persistence. Got it. Step 6.
Step 6. Embrace discomfort and new experiences. Growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone. If it's not a little uncomfortable, you're probably not stretching enough.
Change means doing things that feel not like you.
By definition, instead of shying away, learn to reinterpret discomfort as a positive sign. I'm stretching. I'm growing. The Stoics practice voluntary discomfort to build resilience.
We don't need to go that extreme, but...
But nudge yourself regularly. Try new, challenging things. Anxious in groups. Sign up for a weekly class? Timid. Voice an opinion in a meeting. Take the lead on something small.
Each time expands what feels possible.
Exactly. You weaken the chains of the old personality. Reframe discomfort as learning, like muscles growing stronger under stress. Character grows by facing challenges.
What about setbacks? Failing sometimes.
Expect them. It's normal. You try to be patient, lose your temper one day. Don't see it as failure or proof you can't change. See it as data.
An opportunity to learn the trigger.
Precisely. What triggered you? How can you handle it differently next time? Iterate, adjust, keep going. Over time, situations that used to throw you off will feel easier. That's evolution.
Makes sense. And the final step, number 7.
Step 7. Reflect, refine, and reinforce. Make reflection an intentional, consistent habit to cement your growth and keep it going. Regularly take stock. How have I changed? What still needs work?
Journaling, maybe? Like the Stoics.
An excellent tool. The Stoics reviewed their day, what went well, what could improve. Every few weeks, ask, am I acting more like my ideal self? Where do I revert to old patterns?
Celebrate the wins. Analyze the setbacks.
Yes. Celebrate small victories. I introduce myself to someone new. Gently analyze setbacks. I got defensive receiving feedback. Why? How can I respond differently? This mindful review keeps you conscious, prevents derailment.
And reinforcement helps.
Incredibly helpful. Reinforce your new identity. Acknowledge it publicly or reward yourself. Tell a trusted friend about your efforts. Hearing someone say, I've noticed you're more talkative lately, powerfully affirms the change.
Celebrate milestones.
Definitely. Treat yourself after hitting a goal 10th gym trip this month. I am someone who prioritizes fitness now. Positive reinforcement encourages you. And throughout.
Self-compassion.
Crucial. You won't transform overnight. It's a journey. Focus on progress, not perfection. With each month, each year of consistent effort, you'll look back amazed at how far you've come.
Wow. That's a really comprehensive playbook. So bringing it all together, what does this mean for you, our listener? The ultimate takeaway seems simple, yet profoundly empowering. You are not stuck being you.
Not the you of today, frozen in time.
Personality is pliable, grows, adapts, either passively just reacting to life.
Or, much better, actively through your own guiding hand, with intention, foresight, consistent effort.
Yes, we all have predispositions, default settings maybe, but they're just the starting materials.
Exactly, just the raw materials.
Mm.
Who you become is ultimately shaped not by those alone, but by what you choose to do with them.
The experiences you seek, the habits you cultivate, the mindsets you adopt, the narratives you script about your life. You're the protagonist, the architect, the author.
I love how one psychologist put it after reviewing the research. It's not that personality isn't permanent, it's that personality isn't a prison.
Personality isn't a prison. That's powerful.
It means your personality right now is real, but it doesn't confine you forever. You hold the keys to change, to unlock new possibilities, explore dormant capacities within yourself.
And both ancient wisdom and modern science agree on this.
Unequivocally, personal growth is a lifelong journey, a continuous process of becoming. The Stoics urged us to strive for virtue daily, seeing adversity as an opportunity to forge character.
And today's psychologists show even traits like introversion or neuroticism can shift.
With deliberate practice and time, yes. And countless personal stories, big and small, show people breaking free from limiting beliefs and reinventing themselves.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, and maybe your action challenge from this deep dive. Next time you catch yourself thinking, I can't help it, that's just my personality, or I've always been this way, just pause.
Catch that thought.
Remember that this is a narrative, a story, and crucially, one you have the power to rewrite. You don't have to ignore your nature or pretend to be someone you're not.
It's about expansion, not denial.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
can expand your nature, actively discover new, perhaps dormant sides of yourself. Imagine looking back 5 or 10 years from now and seeing a remarkably different crew. Calmer, bolder, kinder, wiser, more resilient, whatever you aspire to all, because you decided not to accept the limiting notion that you're stuck.
That future you is attainable.
Not a vague wish, but an attainable reality, waiting for you to invite them into existence through intentional action. Start today with the steps we outlined. Even the smallest, most consistent action toward growth can set big, transformative changes in motion over time.
Ultimately, the ability to change, to adapt, to grow, it's a core, magnificent part of being human. It's not a flaw to seek improvement. It's a testament to our incredible potential. Embrace it fully.
So you're not stuck being you.
You're always in the exciting, unfolding process of becoming a new you. And that journey, that continuous unfolding, can be one of the most rewarding adventures of your entire life. In the grand story of your life, you remain the primary author of your character, so pick up the pen and feel free to begin a new, inspiring chapter at any time.